But looking at this particular information from PAN, I guess it has in some way put things in perspective. Now we probably know why we are paying so much for, a crate of eggs and all of that. But away from that, what are these sectoral challenges Mr. Iyola refers to that have caused businesses to close shop?
Well, it didn't start now. It started in 2020 when the last administration made an uninformed policy decision to withdraw access to Forex, that's foreign currency for importers of maize. That singular factor, without considering the predictions the previous year, which already told us that Nigeria was going to import 100,000 metric tons of maize from US. We had flood in 2019. To put it in perspective, 100,000 metric tons of maize is 1 million bags of rice, 100 kg bags of rice. So we had insurgency and co. So that uninformed decision by the federal government on the basis of that knowledge coming from CBN, that singular act threatened the income of the importers. And don't forget, the importers take bank loans. They've signed long-term contracts in various countries that they are bringing the corn to augment what we have. So the price of corn as at March 2020 jumped from, in March it was 45,000 naira. May, when they were making that pronouncement, it was around that 45. It jumped from 45,000 naira to current average of 540 naira per kilo. That's 540,000 naira per ton. So it moved from 45 that year to 145. And it moved on by 2021 January, which was around 210, and it just kept going on. Unfortunately, insurgency, lack of planning, and a couple of things have just added to it. So that's why we're where we are today.
Okay, looking at the policy you referred to, I mean, it's a two-way street. Some person said the policy actually helped us deepen the manufacturing sector here in Nigeria. So what was the issue really? Was it the fact that we didn't have enough farmers, or we don't have enough seeds, or what exactly was the issue with, maize farming here in Nigeria?
It's a cocktail of misinformation to the federal government. Now, first thing first is we don't use hybrid seeds to give us the yield per acre that we need, okay? We didn't have good interventions. The seed companies were struggling. Fertilizers were not available. Most of the ones available were low quality. And so government ought to have known, the advisors of government, from the Ministry of Agriculture to the presidency, ought to have known that we had a shortfall in 2019. All international organizations that work with Nigeria, USDA had it in a report in 2019 that Nigeria was going to import 100,000 metric tons to be able to meet the basic needs. So when they banned it, because they were misinformed by the then, let me just put it, by some of the parastatals of federal government that we can produce. But we could not produce because they were also promoting rice, and there was no adequate monitoring and evaluation. So we could not get the quantity, the quality out. But what really happened was that conversation around the restriction of access to Forex, that threatened the income of the importers and the aggregators and the middlemen. So the market just took advantage of that ignorance.
All right, let me come in here. Just before we move on, we had the MAS, that's the maize aggregation scheme. What about it? It was established in 2019 to deepen the maize production sector, to even, probably also ensure that farmers are able to get funding and some other things in that regard. Wasn't that what the government probably was looking at? And hasn't it been impactful so far?
It was not a well-thought-through program. Implementation was poor. Everything around that maize conversation since 1999 in this country. I've participated in a couple since 1999. It's always not well thought through. They don't have good budgets for monitoring and evaluation. So at the end of the day, on paper, we release so much, but what gets to the farmers? When I mean farmers, the association is less than 10%. And we also need to query the association, because the association, they are supposed to be pressure groups, lobbyists. They also just take what they want to take, especially at national level, and just keep quiet. That program failed woefully. We should hold the association responsible for not saying anything and allowing us to get to this point. And we also need to hold responsible the Poultry Association of Nigeria at national, not state. At national, they also did not speak out because maize determines their profitability and sustainability. And they also were monitoring. They were also in various meetings. They did not do anything. At federal level, at national level for the associations, maize and poultry, they are responsible for where we are, not government. If government made a wrong pronouncement, wrong policy decision, and you did not come out to mobilize, to say this is the challenge, so we should hold them responsible. Enough in Nigeria where we just park the buck to the federal government.